As we walk into this video, I just want to acknowledge shift happens. And you can play with the pronunciation of the word shift there if you want to. If you've noticed, the reference to this channel is now Living Legacy Life, where it used to be Younger, Older, Elder. So I've kept that YOE, so it's now Living Legacy Life dash Younger, Older, Elder. And I'm doing that because I want to highlight that I'm looking at life, and from a younger, older, elder perspective, this notion of the legacy that's in your life from a younger, older, elder perspective, and this livingness, this how do you live it on a day-to-day basis? What is the actions that you're taking, those ing actions that you're taking to figure out living legacy life from a younger, older, elder perspective? And I am going to mention a little bit later intergenerational conversations and what might happen with youngers and olders having conversations, youngers and elders having conversations, elders and olders having conversations, elders and youngers having conversations, everyone having different kinds of conversations. And we were to take a look at what are the threads that become strings, that become cords, that become ropes. Wouldn't that be great to be able to capture some of that and see where that might take us? Might be a project there for myself. I don't know. We'll have to see. If you're doing anything like that, drop a comment down below, or if you have an idea linked to it, drop that idea down below. Let's see what we might be able to do to take a look at this living legacy life through a younger, older, elder, aging continuum perspective. I would so enjoy hearing your thoughts about that. Picking the cards, as I always do on a Wednesday, thought I would share with you what came about. And it was kind of an interesting pattern, and I like that. So for the letter, I got J today. That J is a letter that is associated with independence, innovation, and leadership, and trailblazers. And I thought it's jumping into it kind of idea. But there were 5 key words that came to mind when I thought starting with J. Juggle, justice, joy, journal, and jigsaw. Let me start in reverse. Jigsaw. It sort of felt like I was putting pieces together into a jigsaw for the last week or so, just back and forth about which way do I want to go with the unfolding of the business. And my journal, while I didn't write into it in great depth, I was playing around with some other ideas and shooting a little bit more in-depth videos, which are sort of a way that I journal now, my short prompts that you can find on the channel. It was bringing me joy, I give you that, but there was times where there was some sadness that was associated with all of this as well. There's a lot of interesting things happening in the world, and in being for the world, I'm attempting to find the joy in all of that. And therefore, the word justice came rolling right in, that notion of fair play, fairness, leading towards respect. And I just, joy and justice, I had to bring those really to the foreground for myself quite a bit, because I was juggling a lot of things. That links back to that jigsaw and journal. Juggling a lot of thoughts, trying to figure out which way do I want to go with a couple of my ideas that I have. When you get to a point where you're in your 71st revolution of the sun, you start figuring out, what do I want to get into? What is it that I really want to contribute in being for the world, to bring more, let me say, joy and justice, and be able to juggle and jigsaw together with that joy and justice. So I was playing with these words. I didn't know it, but I'm going to be carrying them into this week coming up. So I'm just wondering for you, how does the letter J come out for you? Juggle, justice, joy, journal, jigsaw. What's happening for you? Let me know down in the comments section below. But the tree that came forth was juniper, which tends to be a low tree, more like a ground-based shrub, as I understand it, here on the western side of Canada. But I've always enjoyed them because when I come across them, they've started to spread out, and you can see that green sometimes on these brown hillsides. And I'll walk up and around them on the outside of them and just enjoy them and think about them as some of them must be kind of older. And they've been around for a while, and it's taken them time to spread out. And I sort of liken that to a lot of the work I'm doing is I'm thinking about this is for the ages. It's for agers, yes, but it's for the ages. And if I can set this up so that there's something here that will be of value for years to come, oh, that'll be great. And as a legacy mentor, I'm doing whatever I can to have that happen. The other card, which was a single word, it was interesting, was gratitude. And about being thankful and appreciate and be ready to be in that appreciation, to be ready for that gratitude, that kindness. And I have to direct some of that towards myself and sort of what's happening in the world today. And so I was paying attention to that as well. The next one was the phrasing that I was going to pick up. And I thought this was fascinating, considering what I'll share here in a few minutes, was the phrase was with the planet. So a lot of the work I'm doing is for the world at the moment with humans and beings, but with the planet opens up that inorganic, organic kin story. And I just went, all right, how do I remind myself of that? And all of a sudden, right, the Trinity, the triangle at the top being sky, on the I have to get my left side is sea, on the right side is land, as I sort of see it, and these three sort of interacting. And one of the things I remembered is one of the best places to find yourself is where the sky, the air, meets the sea, the water, with the land and earth. And at that point, if you just think about being on a beach and your feet are in the water on the sand with the air around you, to me, that is a really beautiful spot to do some thinking and feeling. And if you get a chance to do that in the next little while, I would encourage you to do so and just see what comes rolling in. What is it that you think about, and what are you feeling? What are you sensing about what's taking place because of being in that position? Because in a sense, you are the fire that goes in that. So earth, air, water, and fire. And give it a go and see what happens. I'm still going to be a couple of days away from doing anything like that, probably even a little bit longer, seeing that we had a really big cold snap come rolling through. Everything's frozen. So that was the drawing of the cards I thought I would share. Maybe there's some stories there that you can pick up on, a prompt or two, and grab it and see what you can do with your journals and working it out. Finding that justice, joy, journal, jigsaw, juggle kind of approach, and the idea of gratitude and being with the planet. In serving as a legacy mentor, I've come to appreciate that part of me, that contribution, because it's through that I also get to interact with different generations and having intergenerational conversations. And I realized how important those intergenerational conversations are and are going to be, because there's an interesting unfolding, as I'm going to call it, in terms of how we as boomers, that's where I am, and those who are Gen Zs, and now we got alphas, and I'm not a great one for using those terms because they tend to be a lot more associated with marketing. But let's just say the olders and the youngers, and having some way in which to interact with them and each other. What can we do? How can we find ways to do that? You as grandparents, There it is. You can have those kind of conversations and see where that might take you. And if you do it with nature, ooh, there's something beautiful about that. And if not, maybe it's around a birthday party or a celebration of some kind. Where else might you find the opportunity? Mentoring in a youth center somewhere? If you're looking at it from that perspective, maybe you have a friend who, daughter or son, would like to have a conversation with you because of things that you've done over the years. Just think it through, making sure there's safety taken care of, personal safety. Don't be jumping into someone's life just for the sake of, oh, I got to do it. You got to think this through and make sure that there's that safe system and safer practices are in place for that. So think about that intergenerational conversation. And a term that I saw the other day, which I thought was kind of fun, gentelligence, generational intelligence, gentelligence. And it was a TED Talk, and I'll go look for it again, and I'll put it down below in the description if you want to go watch it and just look at the use of that term. And that's kind of a fun way in which to look at this younger, older, elder continuum, this aging continuum that I often speak about. So take a look at that and see where that might get you. The other aspect of this intergenerational conversation that I want to bring forth, because that intergenerational conversation, you might say, okay, that's for the world. But if we switch the conversations, the V and S, to S and V, you get conservation. That making sure that you're taking care of what you have available without wasting any of it. And there are different conservation programs for the humanity, for the world, and with the planet. And I sort of think about, yes, there's the environmental, ecological systems ones, but there's also the conservation of ideas that you might have, your personal wisdom. And to be able to have conversations about conservation, that S and V, I sort of think about is the significant values, right? At the S and V, the significant values that you can share and see where it takes you. And I just bring it up because I am looking to weave that into a lot of the nature-inspired legacy work that I'm doing, is how to find those intergenerational conversations about conservation. If you're doing anything like that, I would love to hear and put it down below. And what I can do is track it through, and maybe there's a story there that we can share. And if you're doing it yourself, maybe there's a time where we can get together and just have a conversation about what it is you're doing, what it is that you're finding. I think there's something here, and I'm still on the surface of it, juggling it. Still the jigsaw to figure out a few things. I'm going to give it a go, and I'd certainly appreciate your assistance and helping me. And if you got stories to share, please put them down in the description, or if it's, hey, can we talk? We'll find a way in which to make it happen, okay? That'd be great. Well, and moving forward into the week, knowing that I've picked out these cards, and these are things that I'm going to be thinking about around the letter J, and juggle, justice, joy, journal, jigsaw, see where that take me, the sense of gratitude, doing what I can with the planet, figuring out how intergenerational conversations can be woven into what I'm doing, exploring gentelligence, I like that one, and looking at how this playing out of the naming of this channel as Living Legacy Life, Younger, Older, Elder. Any of these kind of ideas that are pertinent to you that you can use going through the week, please do. And then at some point in time, drop us a note in the description into the comments section, and let us know what you're thinking and what you're feeling, what you're sensing. We would all appreciate it because we can learn together. And the videos that are showing up now are the links to the Legacy Mentor series that I do on Wednesdays, and also the prompts, the short prompt videos that I put out in the morning. They are really helpful if you want a daily prompt of think about something to do with living a legacy life and some of the words that we've just mentioned. May the J be with you this week. Take care.